Greetings. This is Celebration. My name is John Savers. I'm your host. And today we will continue with our series, Jews and Their Culture. For those of you new to Celebration, this is a program which looks at people and their culture and tries to understand better what makes these people tick or this culture tick. Now, in the process, because this is a dense, broad kind of subject, we do have a way of sort of assuming a generalized knowledge on the part of people in regard to others and their culture. And since the establishment in educational as groups have a tendency to put a sort of best face forward, people generally have a kind of a feel-good image, and this is, I think, in part a good thing, but it is also if there is to be understanding, to see the full dimensions, and this is what we try to do. We are embracive in our sources. We take, of course, well-known authoritative sources such as encyclopedias and so forth. Sometimes we reference establishment media, but we also look at seldom seen books out of print, bulletins, small newspapers and whatnot, who have made an effort to dig up info which is not basically standard, but at any rate, which is well to understand, because often, if true, it does have a substantial bearing, an important little bearing on the understanding. As implied in my earlier comments, we do feel that the establishment puts forth a position which has material omissions which necessarily cause a lot of gaps. And we do attempt to fill in some of those gaps to round out the picture. And in that sense, this is kind of an educational program. But many people are not altogether pleased at having their notions from their education, their preconceived ideas, and so forth challenged, and many people are in fact irate about such things. It's not easy for some people to deal with an earthquake in life, but it seems to be even more difficult if it is a conceptual earthquake which shakes the firm ground of their ideas, the grounding. So we have, unfortunately, on occasion done this, apparently. But at any rate, we have, it seems, engendered some animosity amongst the establishment groups in power. And they have sent out some of their agents and so forth to try to get across the point that they're not pleased. This is not really new. And let me give you a citation to sort of point to the antiquity of such the mocking and the making fun and the being a general nuisance by such agents. So let's do that now. But you draw near hither, sons of the sorceress, offspring of the adulterer and the harlot, of whom are you making sport? Against whom make ye a wide mouth, and draw out the tongue? Are ye not children of transgression, a seed of falsehood, inflaming yourself with idols under every green tree, slaying the children in the valleys under the cleft of the rocks? Now this is a citation from Isaiah 57:3-5. Now, people, as I mentioned earlier, our subject in this series is Jews and their culture. Now, for several episodes, we initially pursued the question of just who is a Jew according to the flesh, what might be discerned in this regard. And I will say that in this regard, we have had a kind of an update in the idea which was propagated that the Sephardic Jews more or less melted away, dwindled to nothing, failed to reproduce, and so forth, and more or less left the scene to the Ashkenazim. But we have, with information in regard to the breakup of the Jewish center under the Sephardic Jews in Spain, in the Iberian Peninsula, we have reason to believe that there must have been a large population and that a substantial part of this population probably went to southern Europe and sort of joined with the Ashkenazim in that particular eastern southern area from Poland to Turkey, kind of a lower crescent, as it were. At any rate, we feel that this occurred, and we feel that when Mr. A.E. Morant, the blood type expert, checked these people kind of searching for the Khazarian influence, actually ran into a lot of Jews who had African blood. In fact, he noted 5 to 10%. So we think that this probably occurred mostly because he was running into many Sephardic Jews who had gone over that direction from Iberia after they were expelled in 1492 in that time frame. So having noted this much in regard to that aspect, we did subsequently take on the question of the general idea which makes a Jew a Jew. We have the Jew according to the flesh, and I thought it was very important to try to get some kind of understanding of the idea, the religious and legal ideas which also make a Jew, because amongst modern expert Jews, there has been a movement away from the idea that we are a race to the idea we are a religion. So I think that that is important, and we have pursued this. We have therefore looked a little bit on particularly the Orthodox Jewry and the Talmud, and we have also looked upon the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is presently associated with the Hasidim particularly, but this is a branch. It's, by the way, Kabbalah means received or revealed knowledge. Usually that implies a passage by word of mouth, an oral tradition. And it just so happens that the fundamental ideas in the Kabbalah far outdate the Israelitish religion. But at any rate, we do think also, since one of the primary books was written apparently by a Sephardic Jew in Iberia around the 11th or 12th century, that they also are custodians, so to speak, of this concept, or within Sephardic Jewry there is this custodianship. And we see that perhaps this journey eastward, this crescent of Sephardic domain that was taken up from, say, Poland to Turkey, that it probably also enjoyed a renaissance, so to speak, of the Kabbalah, this type of received knowledge. But at any rate, we have been looking at that, and we intend to look at it today. It's a difficult subject, so therefore we are taking a generalist approach. A great deal of intelligence on the part of Jewry has been expended on the Kabbalah and Talmud and interpretations and so forth. I think that the Kabbalah has been kind of like a glass beads game. Those of you familiar with Hermann Hesse's Magister Luddy and the glass beads game might keep that in mind, that there is this sort of maybe vain fascination within Jewry for the Kabbalah, the pure essence. But at any rate, there has been extensive thought expended in a wide range of areas connecting them to this sort of emanation concept. So I think that at this point in time, we'll go ahead and take a kind of beginner's guiding look at just what is meant by all this. But it is something which has touched upon Jewry in a significant way, and that is why we're going to do it. So please attend. These books were regarded by those in charge of the mainstream of Judaism as too potent for ordinary folk to handle. Indeed, many rabbis forbade their study and insisted on concentrating only on the reasoned logic of the literal Torah, which dealt principally with righteous conduct in this world. This is a citation from Ziv ben Shimon Halevi, The Way of Kabbalah, page 18. Now, it may be noted in passing that somehow or other the well-known comment in Revelation in regard to a Jew who is not a Jew may relate to the Kabbalized Jew whose occult learning may have put him outside the realm of Jewry from an intellectual or conceptual way. At any rate, it's something to bear in mind, but let us go on and take a look at this particular Kabbalah aspect. God does not exist. God is beyond existence. God is ayin, no thing. Out of no thing comes Ein Sof, or the infinite all. Within Ein Sof's boundlessness, something comes into unmanifest reality. It is hidden in the utter stillness and concealed within the complete silence. Some Kabbalists call this the place without end. This is a citation from Ziv ben Shimon Halevi, The Way of Kabbalah, page 27. Well, folks, a God like that must be difficult to know, and therefore it is probable that a spokesperson was invented because of this problem. Enter Metatron. Metatron is the mighty archangel who fulfills this need, and some say that he has manifested himself on earth on a number of occasions as mighty teachers, offered as potential possible Metatron incarnations are Enoch and Melchizedek. In fact, Enoch is said possibly to be Metatron himself, that when Enoch was taken into heaven, he was glorified, so to speak, into this archangel. At any rate, some folks think that. It might be said that others will find the words of the Roman Lucretius very weighty. He said, of course, from no thing proceeds. Well, there is a certain logic in that, but we're not dealing with Roman logic here. We're dealing with a different kind of thinking. Well, how can we now get through this, what might be called quantum metaphysics? Well, with the help of the Ansoff, something, the Ansoff, the quantum metaphysics that is needed to get things rocking. So with that, let's proceed, learn a little bit more via citation. The objective laws that govern the universe are described by the chief diagram of Kabbalah, known as the Tree of Life. This analog model of the absolute, the world, and man is the working key to speculative and practical Kabbalah. By living the tree, the Kabbalist experiences its reality, so enabling him to rise safely and secure a foundation in the upper levels of existence. If he is truly established there, he may be given perceptions and knowledge of matters unattainable in this world, or be the channel by which the influx of grace descends from above. If this be so, he fulfills his purpose as incarnate Adam, directly harmonizing with the will of his Maker throughout all earths, Edens, and heavens. In such a state, he may even rise in the chariot of his soul to the throne of the Spirit, upon which sits the eternal Adam, the divine man, the last separate realization before complete union with the ultimate one. Ziv ben Shimon Halevi, The Way of Kabbalah, page 12. Well, now, I guess some of you may be scratching your heads and saying to yourself, well, let me see if I got this right. From no thing, something, the Ansoff, emanates, and this gets the ball rolling. Well, well, folks, don't worry about it. It's a matter of faith. Even the rabbinic sages admit that it's a matter of faith. It's like Alicia talking to John Nash in the film about the universe expanding. It's a matter of faith and so forth. By the way, now that I have that brought up, it might be mentioned en passant that the Big Bang Theory is grounded in the Kabbalah universe, the Kabbalah concept. In fact, the Big Bang is very much like the tree of life rotated into a horizontal position, so to speak. I think that it's usually rendered kind of horizontally, like a dot exploding out, although in reality it would have to explode out in all ways, in all dimensions, and so forth. It's usually kind of depicted as a side movement where kind of a cone, triangular, flows from it. Now, it should be noted that such things as the Big Bang Theory are taught in school, and evolution is taught in school. But I will predict to you that since it is known in the Kabbalah realm that it's not possible for a man to, or not likely at any rate, for a single man to be sufficiently holy to evolve all the way into the Godhead in one life. You heard it mentioned about consciousness raising and so forth. So it will have to mean more than one life. And this has led, of course, to the concept of reincarnation. And therefore, it is my prediction that since we have such notions as the Big Bang taught in school and evolution, that it is almost certain that the New Age teaching crowd, under the guise of public school education and under the general hand of Freemasonry, will declare that reincarnation is proven science, and that all youngsters will have to accept reincarnation as a scientific fact. So stay tuned. This is a prediction. We'll see if it turns out. But for the time being, to get to the point I'm trying to make in regard to this Kabbalah and its touch upon cosmology, consider. Out of endlessness comes the will of Unsof. It retracts, or some say it concentrates, or even radiates to allow the manifest world to emerge out of the unmanifest. The will of Unsof, coming out of concealment, is called Unsof R. Light, A-U-R, R in Hebrew being the symbol of will. This is a citation from Ziv ben Shimon Halevi, The Way of Kabbalah, page 12. Now, people, from this citation, it should be relatively clear that this concentration is very much at one with the idea of the dot, the little circle in which everything which was to be existed in potential form, and with a big bang flowed out, radiated out in this expression. It is entirely a concept at one with the Kabbalah, the tree of life, emanations, and so forth. So keep that in mind. Also, there is this to keep in mind, that such men of the Kabbalah as Halevi do take time to mention that the Kabbalah, its pure essence, was made degraded in the way by magicians and what might be called users of dark art, those who wish to dwell on the dark side and so forth, these sorts, who brought a tremendous vulgarization and infamy to the concept of the Kabbalah, whose pure essence is majestic and exhilarating and entirely for those with a gifted perception, and it is for the reason that it required a certain amount of mental, spiritual gift that I believe the rabbis, and I believe Halevi is in tune with this, preferred that the great mass of people be kept away from it, not be given an idea of it, because it was beyond their ken, and it would only lead to confusion and make them vulnerable to wicked people misusing this great concept. But let's proceed, shall we? One analogy for the first manifestation of will out of unmanifest existence is a dimensionless point. This dot of manifest existence is the source of everything that was, is, and will be. It is I am, and in Kabbalah is called the first crown, the ancient one, and the white head. From here emanate the 10 utterances that bring the relative world into being. In an instantaneous progression, the 10 divine principles, the attributes of God, or Sephirot, are realized like an eternal lightning flash. This is a citation from Ziv ben Shimon Halevi, The Way of Kabbalah, page 28. Well, once again, this is a citation upon which I had made the connection earlier made, and it bears certain symbols which are very important in occult organizations such as the dot and the lightning bolt. Again, we note that in standard Big Bang theory of the universe, the creation, how it came into being, it is almost instantaneous, this outflowing, much as the circles of light which form the tree of life, or the Sephiroth, the various Sephiroth, are instantaneous, flowing from this dot, this crown. Well, that's it, folks. That's all the time we have. This is Celebration. My name is John Savers. I'm your host. I do appreciate your tuning in and hope to see you again next time.